it will be like your enlightenment, power of emancipation is like a lead axe, which is not going to chop. So whether you are really enlightened or not will be judged by what you do, what you say, and also what you think. That's what we just read. Think. In your mind, if you have somebody you hate, hating and so on, your mind is not clean. Your mind also creates karma. Very important. So we hear that before you die, if you have somebody in your mind to hate, you have to resolve it. If you go to next life with a certain grudge, not cleaned, that will be the cause of evil affinity, relationship, human relationship. And then you have to pay for that. So it's very important to clean up whatever that is in the mind. And in WonBuddhism, of course, the truth of Ironsang and the practice of Ironsang spells out the way to be enlightened and to use your mind and the body perfectly. Perfectly. And if you do that, you are a living Buddha. If you can use your mind and the body perfectly without making anybody unhappy. I told you at the beginning, some people are like a broken tin can. Whenever that person opens his or her mouth, then it's harsh to listen. And that person doesn't know it. And it's a misfortune. I'll give you a story which I used in the past. It was the Buddha's time. Buddha's time. This is the scripture called Dharma simile. Dharma simile. And it was in the Rajagriha. Rajagriha is the capital of Magartha, at the time of the Buddha, okay? And Rajagriha. And the king was Bindusara. Bindusara is the king at the time of the Buddha, okay? Bindusara. In Korean we say Bimbisara, but Sanskrit is Bindusara. And a man owned a cow, and the cow somehow gored a person and killed him. So because he was afraid, he sold the cow to somebody, and then the cow killed the new owner of the cow. Okay, so it killed 2 people. And the son of the owner was mad at the cow, so he killed it, and then sold the meat. Okay, and then in the marketplace, of course. And somebody bought the head of the cow and tied with a rope and going home, but it was very hot summer day, so he wants to take a break under a tree, and he hung the head of the cow on the branch of the tree, and he was also asleep. But however, that head fell and killed this man sleeping under the tree. So this cow killed 3 people. And this story was related to the king Bindusara. And it was so weird, so strange. The king with his, those ministers and so on went to the Buddha and asked, how can you explain why such a thing would happen? And the Buddha told the story. This killing is not the beginning, rather it is the result of former lives. And he said, once upon a time, long time, there were three merchants who stayed at like if you want to call it an inn, which is not like yours, but in India, in where an old woman provided the room and the food, lodging and so on. And these three men, merchants said, okay, we'll pay you well, so let us stay here. Okay, so they agreed. And then after several days of eating well, and so on, when the old man, owner of the inn, was out somewhere, and they fled. And when she came back, she found out these three bad men, fled. And she was so furious, and she followed miles and miles and miles, and eventually she caught them, and asked for the payment. And then the three men said, I paid you already this morning. How come you are asking twice? And that, of course, made the old woman really unhappy and angry. And she had a grudge in her mind. I am now weak, old woman. I have no power to do, to correct the ills you are making. However, in our next lives, when I become strong, then of course I will make you pay. And then in this life, the three men were the merchants in their previous lives, and the old woman came as this cow. Make sense? And so she avenged. Because when the three men in the previous lives, behaving so bad and greedy and so on, then she was grinding her teeth, against them and in vexations. That, in her mind was strong enough to form a karma, and she was born as a cow and then avenged. If this is true, of course, this is the simile, book of the simile by the Buddha. Okay, Buddha is saying, if you ask me whether I would believe it, I don't know. It's a simile. A lot of things we just don't know. In university, college, the philosophy class, I was talking about this because this time part of that is Buddhism, Someday science will show that really when somebody dies, then part of his brain, because our brain is the house of the mind, and produced, our mind, the consciousness is produced, memory and so on. Memory, if it is explained in terms of radio movement or something, then just like our cell phone can send certain messages to Australia or Africa in less than a second, just like that. Someday, maybe 3000 AD, when neurophysiology is in great vogue, they may invent an instrument and take pictures of those soul, if you know, soul or consciousness, spirit, whatever, with all those memories, karma, and moving. They can take the picture, just like you use your cell phone, and which sends exactly as you say. They hear that, don't they? The other side of the universe.